Let us see in this class about gametogenesis, especially spermatogenesis. Already we discussed about what we mean by gametogenesis, formation of gametes. If sperm is produced from the male reproductive organ, a process called spermatogenesis, whereas the formation of the ovum is known as oogenesis. But today's class we discuss about spermatogenesis. So formation of the sperm from the male reproductive system, what we call it as spermatogenesis. The whole spermatogenesis process for our convenience we can discuss in two steps. Number one, formation of the spermatids. Formation of the spermatids. Number two is spermiogenesis. There are two levels of understanding about spermatogenesis. Now come to the what you mean by formation of spermatotids. Now you see the board. This phase again divided into three categories or three stages. Number one, multiplication. Number two, growth. Number three, maturations. Now let us discuss one by one what is meant by multiplication phase. Look at this chart. See that already we discussed about the testicular compartments, lobules, everything we discussed. They are rich with three cells. That means what? If you consider the only one particular compartment, there is a seminiferous tubule. This whole process takes place in the seminiferous tubule. You see that the cells of the seminiferous tubules are two kinds already we discussed: spermatogonial cells and Sertoli cells. Forget about the Sertoli cells. Think about spermatogonial cells. Now the cells are undergo repeated multiplication to form a large amount of the cells. They undergo rapid cell division to form the n number of cells. What we call it as multiplication phase. One thing remember here, cells are diploid in nature. So once the sufficient amount of the cells are produced, now the first phase just exit and come to the second phase. What is that? G phase or growth phase. During the growth phase, cells are already divided, so they are smaller in size. So now they are completely grown up. When they grown up completely, these are the spermatogonial cells, what we call it as primary spermatocytes. Primaries, that means well-grown spermatogoniums is nothing but what? Primary spermatocytes. Now we are in the second stage, highly grown up spermatogonium, what we call it as primary spermatocytes. Now the primary spermatocytes just enter into the third stage, what we call it as maturation phase. Here is very important because now the primary spermatocyte, that means diploid primary spermatocytes undergoing the meiotic cell divisions. That is the main division for formation of gametes. That means haploid gametes. Now the first meiosis is going to take place or undertaking in the primary spermatocyte. So it produces two haploid cells. Two haploid cells, what we call it as secondary spermatocyte. Secondary spermatocytes. Now one primary spermatocyte undergo first meiosis to form the two haploid cells, what we call it as secondary spermatocytes. Again, now the secondary spermatocyte undergoing or undertaking the second meiotic division. It is nothing but it is a, I could say it is a simply mitotic division, means it is a equal division. Each one of the secondary spermatocyte undergo mitotically, then form the two cells, what we call it as spermatids. Spermatids. Now clearly understand, first meiosis is real meiosis, that is reduction division, diploid into haploid. Now the haploid secondary spermatocyte is undertaking the second meiosis, that is nothing but equal mitotic division to form the four cells, what we call it as spermatids. So these are all the events in the first step of spermatogenesis called formation of spermatids. The second stage is spermiogenesis. What is the meaning of spermiogenesis? That means formation of the sperm from the spermatid, what we call it as spermiogenesis. Once this stage, the round shaped cells are undergoing some process and make a typical spermatocyte, that means sperm cells. After this completely formed, it taking the nourishment from the Sertoli cells. Please remember, in the seminiferous tubule there is another cell called Sertoli which is giving the nourishment. That means giving food for the, developing sperm cells. So they take the sufficient amount of the food from them, and finally they are released from the testis into the accessory ducts, what we call it as spermiation. So the whole process is having only two major steps: formation of spermatotids followed by formation of sperm cells by means of spermiogenesis. So these are the two major steps in the spermatogenesis. In next video, we will discuss about hormonal control and structure of the typical sperm.